That way you take yourself out the equation. So when there is an opportunity, you don't even consider yourself for it. Think about that. Think about that. People get so down in these defeatist attitudes. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, we're not good enough for that. That an opportunity can smack them right in the face. And they don't see it because they looking down. It's right in front of you, but your head's down. Get your head up. And I mean that for the Browns. I mean that for life. Who knows what's around the corner for you? But you ain't never going to see what's around the corner for you if you have your head down. No need to have your head down. No need to do this defeatist stuff. No need to be cynical about this. Look up, look at what's in front of you because you never know what's coming down the street. And this is an opportunity for this team. This is an opportunity for this fan base to get right back in it. And I don't care what anybody says. I will take a chance of being hurt because we are in a playoff run or close to winning the division than I would just knowing that the team stinks and we're going to be 0-16. I'm never going to be down for that. So this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call for the Browns. This is a wake-up call for the players. This is a wake-up call for fans. This is an opportunity. It's staring you right in the face. Are you going to keep your head down and sulk and, oh, poor me, how bad it is to be a Browns fan? You're going to look up and see what's right in front of you, which is an opportunity. That's the question. That's the question. Because you're going to miss every opportunity that come your way if you ain't looking at it. Hey, man. I don't know if you've heard the news, but this is huge news for this week. Jamarr Chase just went on IR. And it's not just huge news for this week. It's huge news for the entire outlook of the season. I'll explain what I mean by that. But Jamarr Chase apparently has a hip issue. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. 4 guaranteed. He's on short-term IR. 4 to 6 weeks. That is incredibly significant because the Bengals, well, are they at like 4-4 right now? What's the Bengals record? Let me look up the Bengals record. But this is incredibly significant because the Bengals are 4-3 right now, right? 4-3, and they're guaranteed to not have Jamarr Chase for the next 4 games. Now, they play the Panthers. They should beat the Panthers unless Baker Mayfield plays in that game. We know how that goes with Cincinnati. They play the Steelers. Again, it's a team that they could beat. But, like, they lost to the Steelers earlier this year with Jamarr Chase. So, who knows, right? And then they play the Titans, and they play the Chiefs. Then they play the Browns again. And, again, 4 to 6 weeks. Jamarr could not be in this game. They play the Buccaneers. It's very possible that the Bengals can't get to 10 wins or can only get to 10 wins. If that's what that means, and the Browns find a way to win, and without Jamarr Chase, it's very possible because let me remind you, the Bengals had pretty much the same team. Well, not the same offensive line, obviously, but they had a similar team without Jamarr Chase, and they ended up getting the pick to get Jamarr Chase, right? They weren't a good team. Even when Joe Burrow was in there, I think he was in there for like 8 games. I don't think they were over 500. Jamarr Chase was the piece that put them over the top. Now they don't have that piece. That could change drastically what this offense looks like because a lot of their offense is dependent on overpowering teams with their offensive firepower. I mean, part of the reason they're able to do that is because Jamarr Chase is one of the best 3 wide receivers in football. Now you have T. Higgins, who's probably top 15, and then Tyler Boyd, who's probably top 25, and it's a good wide receiving core, but it's not overwhelming. That completely changes the dynamic of this team offensively. Defensively, they're still very good. I would still be very concerned about their defense. But offensively, without Jamarr Chase, that changes their entire dynamic. And they lost 2 games they shouldn't have early. And that could end up being something that limits their total win potential. And again, if they only get to 10 wins and the Browns do win, let's say the Browns win on Monday Night Football, right? Let's live in that world. which is a realistic possibility now. I mean, like, I think the Lions probably going to get close to even. Because remember, this is a home game for the Browns on Monday night. So let's say the Browns win. That means the Bengals division record goes to 0-3. Which means once you're 0-3, unless everybody else is terrible in the division, you have to outright win the division to win the division. What I mean by that is you cannot just have a tiebreaker and win the division. You got to win the division by one game. You can't half game win it. And the Bengals at 0-3, I mean, like, that means that like 10 wins probably going to be their cap if Jamarr Chase isn't back after 6 weeks. And if that's the case, this thing's wide open. Wide open. Like, it's very possible that this could be a 9-win and 4-2 division record wins this game. And let's remember, again, if the Browns win this on Monday night, it all hinges for the Browns, at least, if they win on Monday night. If they win on Monday night, that means the Browns have a 2-1 division record, and they don't play another division game until Deshaun Watson gets back, where their chances of winning drastically jump up. It also means that you will have 3 wins, which means the highest possible win total you can get if Deshaun plays is 6? Well, the lowest possible you can get to 6. If 3 could get you to 9 is my point, right? If you get 3 here, then 9 you can get to 9. All of a sudden, this thing's wide open. And honestly, I was on the edge of, hey man, do the Browns have real playoff chances or not? This just opened things up wide open. Like, the playoffs are a real possibility if the Browns win this game. It's possible. The Bengals' run game has been up and down all year. Their passing attack has been up and down all year, and that was with Jamarr Chase. They're still a good defensive team, but you have your matchup victories against them. This is very, very interesting now. So I wanted to start with that news before I go into the preview, because clearly no Jamarr Chase changes everything when it comes to the game plan. Now let's talk about the game plan. I might have even put a preview on the beginning of this, man. All right, so Browns offense versus this Bengals defense is going to be difficult to throw against them. They're a very sound unit. There's not a lot of names that you are familiar with on this Bengals roster that are like superstars, but they're a unit that plays really well together, and they can play in a lot of different shells together. And I think that's what makes them very good. They're versatile. They're not going to stay in one look all game. The days of the cover one exclusive Bengals are over. So now you have to figure it out. I still think you can run on them. I still do. I think you can run on them. I think the Browns can run on them. And I think if the Browns are able to run on them, they'll be able to get enough through the air to live. And I think that's probably going to be the game plan for them. And offensively, I mean, the game plan is pretty boring because we know what to expect out the Browns offense, but it's pretty much play your game. All you have to do is play your game. And that could work because, again, without Jamarr Chase, they're not as explosive, or they don't project to be as explosive of an offense as they usually are. The real question is for this defense versus this offense of the Bengals, right? And last week gave me some hope because what I saw last week was a competent interior defensive line rush. It was just straight up competent. It was good. It was good. Like, Taven Bryan and Jordan Elliott had good games. And we saw what that did for the Miles had 2 sacks, pressure all day, had like 8 pressures. Clowney had pressure. Everybody was getting pressure, like sack. We had like 5 sacks in that game. Good things happen when the defensive tackles can get upfield. If we can get upfield this week with our defensive tackles and take advantage of these one-on-one opportunities they're going to give us with Myles Garrett on Jonah Williams, we're putting ourselves in position to win. We made all the jokes in the world because it's funny that Baker Mayfield has had these like incredible games versus the Bengals. It is absolutely hilarious. But that's not the reason the Browns have beaten the Bengals over the last couple of years. It's been Myles Garrett. It's been Nick Chubb. Those guys are still here. Those have always been the best players. Those have always been the biggest mismatches. And the reason they work specifically well against the Bengals is because the way the Bengals play, those two can get theirs more often because the Bengals play a lot of single high, two, they stay in zone. You can run on that. The same thing on the other side. Why can Miles get that? Because the Bengals like to spread it out. They don't like to keep a tight end in. It means you're going to leave Jonah Williams on the island. Jonah Williams is just good enough to put him on the island, but not good enough to stay on the island with Myles Garrett. Disaster strikes. Those matchups still exist. Now, will Jacoby Brissett throw for 5 touchdowns? Very unlikely. I think he's thrown for 4 like twice in his life. Very unlikely he does that. But will you need him to do that? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to need it. Now you feel much better about, Denzel Ward not being in that game. Because if Denzel Ward's not in that game and Jamar Chase is not in that game, wash. All right, boom. Now we're dealing with Greg Newsome on T. Higgins. I like that matchup. And you're dealing with Martin Emerson on Tyler Boyd. I like that matchup. The thing I was worried about was Martin Emerson having to worry about Jamar Chase. Did not want to live in that world because as good as I think Martin Emerson is, I know he struggles when he gets in space and has to chase these fast dudes downfield. That's not where he's good at. But a dude like Tyler Boyd that's more physical, that's Martin Emerson's wheelhouse. He's going to get that. And then Greg Newsome, he's fine. He's fine on whoever he has to be on. He's a good corner. This opens things up for the Cleveland Browns. And I need fans to understand. Look, I know you're going to be cynical. I know they're 2-5. I know they have not given you much hope, but understand there is an opportunity here for this team to get back into it at 3-5. Like, thank goodness, right? But there is an opportunity for things to open up for the Browns in a way that we are not used to. It would have been nice if the referees would have did their job last week and we would have 3 wins by now and a 2-0 division record and we really be flying high. But hey, they didn't give us those calls. Who cares? We're on to Cincinnati because we got a golden opportunity. This team is beatable without Jamar Chase. They were beatable with Jamar Chase. They're beatable without him. This is a winnable game. It's not a game you should win. It's not a game you're going to be favored in, but it's a winnable game. And as many winnable games as this team's lost, God damn it, they're due. Straight up, they're due. They have to be due. And I know it's easy to get cynical. I know it's easy to get down bad and just fall into the jokes and we suck and all that. But what's the fun in that? Ask yourself, if you're miserable about losing, does making jokes about the misery actually help, or does it just make you more sad about the misery? I'd rather get hope, get let down, and then get started again, because that's ultimately better for my soul than to just live in misery. Because then that way you're defeated. That way you let them win. That way you take yourself out the equation. So when there is an opportunity, you don't even consider yourself for it. Think about that. Think about that. People get so down in these defeatist attitudes. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, we're not good enough for that. That an opportunity can smack them right in the face. And they don't see it because they looking down. It's right in front of you, but your head's down. Get your head up. And I mean that for the Browns. I mean that for life. Who knows what's around the corner for you? But you ain't never going to see what's around the corner for you if you have your head down. No need to have your head down. No need to do this defeatist stuff. No need to be cynical about this. Look up, look at what's in front of you, because you never know what's coming down the street. And this is an opportunity for this team. This is an opportunity for this fan base to get right back in it. And I don't care what anybody says. I will take a chance of being hurt because we are in a playoff run or close to winning the division than I would just knowing that the team stinks and we're going to be 0-16. I'm never going to be down for that. So this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call for the Browns. This is a wake-up call for the players. This is a wake-up call for fans. This is an opportunity. It's staring you right in the face. Are you going to keep your head down and sulk and, oh, poor me, how bad it is to be a Browns fan? You're going to look up and see what's right in front of you, which is an opportunity. That's the question. That's the question. Because you're going to miss every opportunity that come your way if you ain't looking at it or if you ain't looking for it. That's my thoughts on this game, man. Y'all have a great day. Have a good night. And keep your head up. Keep your head up.